Can you talk a little bit about how COVID, COVID being the kind of abbreviation for coronavirus disease,
Hmm.
that hyphen 19 meaning 2019, um,
Hmm.
COVID-19, how is it different?
Yeah. So the difference is these are what's called the novel virus. So something that has not been seen in populations before, and there's no recognized treatment for it as of now, no vaccination for it now. So these things become pretty scary because they uh, get at first they start in an animal. They're endemic, meaning that they're known to be within a certain population. That population is bats and different animals. And so when they cross over from an animal to a human, it looks different, and then you don't know how to treat it, and you got to try to stop it, or it continues to propagate throughout the population. So these different diseases, such as the camel, ones that came in the Middle East, SARS, that goes from camels to humans, that was pretty prevalent out in the Middle East. And then the other one, which is SARS, that started back in 2012 in China. And now we have the COVID-19 that started back in 2019. So all these different novel viruses that jump from animal to human, and then once we get inside the human, it starts to change, and then it starts to spread from human to human. So then this becomes an issue because then we don't have no known or designated thing that can stop it. So if you are not able to stop something, then it starts to take away the most vulnerable people in our population. So, and the in order way to stop it is kind of keep everybody away from each other. But a lot of places, such as the United States now, we are so used to not being able to go out on our own. And so, and being young, a lot of the young folks are, they don't know um, how to stay away because they have such a mindset that I'm able to do whatever I can do, and you can't keep me away from my friends or things like that, and I don't get sick, so I'll be okay. So, I mean, that's the wrong mindset where you can be a carrier, and then you go to your grandparents' house or you go to the store and we have older people there in the store, and then you start taking out that population. And that's pretty unfortunate events that, people are selfish and not really realizing that this is a pretty serious thing that can literally take out a lot of our population.
Yeah, I like seeing that they've got senior hours in grocery stores, like from 7 to 8 in the morning, when
Right.
they've done sanitizing during the night, and everything's
Hmm.
clean, and so the seniors go in first before everybody else
Hmm.
putting their hands on everything. Of course, um, the virus could still be on the packaging, so that
Hmm.
hand washing comes in. But I like seeing that we are doing what we can to make life as easy as possible for the elderly, who are, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
the vulnerable segment. And also
Yeah.
diabetics would be a vulnerable population. Um, what else? I have a number of friends who are either on chemo for cancer or have just finished chemo, so they have to be, extra careful as well. So it's
Hmm.
mm,
Yeah, and folks that are have hypertension and take certain medication, which are called ACE inhibitors, they are at increased risk because the COVID virus kind of binds to these ACE inhibitors, and they get sicker. So, and this was done by different studies that they had in China with these ACE inhibitors. So,
uh,
if you're healthy and you're taking hypertensive medication, ACE inhibitor, you may think you're really healthy, but you are at increased risk. So you have to take care of yourself as well.
So if you're on hypertensive medication, you're
Hmm.
in a vulnerable category. I also read that ibuprofen increases the
Yeah.
risk. Can you explain that a little bit? I don't know. I just saw it in a headline recently.
So I'm not for sure the exact mechanism. I was actually looking it up to try to figure that part out as well. But it's if you're on anti-inflammatory, in particular ibuprofen, then it lowers your threshold to have an increased viral load, which will cause you to have complications. I'm personally still looking at that and looking through the literature to figure out what is it that they found in China with ibuprofen.
Yeah, so we just recommend if you've got body aches or whatever, just take aspirin. Aspirin would be better
Yeah,
than,
exactly. Mhm.
okay, that's good to know. So, and you
Mhm.
also mentioned that you study global health. Did you take the classes in the two different departments, or did you just focus
Mhm.
on, I don't know how the program is designed since I left.
Yeah, so typically it's like a year long if you do epidemiology or global health. It's 1 year, but I did 2 years. So I did epidemiology and global health. So I did global health classes as well as epidemiology classes. And for my global health project, I went out to the Philippines and was working with their Center for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as the health organizations out there, looking at how they track down malaria as well as TB.
Uh-huh. Very interesting. Uh,
Hmm.
I went on the trip in 97, and that was the first time that they didn't go to Central America. They were usually going to Costa Rica, using Costa Rica as their base. But
Yeah.
in 1997, they made a big break from that usual trip, and we went to India.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man.
3 weeks in India, and it was the 50-year anniversary of the independence from the British Empire. So there was,
Wow.
and that was also the summer that Hong Kong was transferred from British to Chinese Beijing
Wow.
control.
That's
It was
awesome.
summer. It was a
Yeah.
big summer. But yeah, those trips are really great, and I'm just going to put out a plug for Loma Linda University School of Public Health. There is
Yeah.
any interest that you may have, just about any interest, any hobby can connect somehow to public health. I'm just going to say
Yeah.
that as a
Oh
general.
yeah. Most definitely.
You love animals, you love children, you love um, working with moms, you love working with um, you don't like people, you just want to be in an office and work with machines, and you could, all of that. You can
Yeah.
find something in
All
public
there.
health. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you love computers, you're a geek, you just want to sit in a computer all day and just crunch numbers, we got something for you too. So I just love public health. So I was so excited when I saw you had an MPH too. So because it's we have our own kind of language.
Yeah, exactly.
Special club. So that's cool. Yeah, so because I study global health and health promotion, and I did
Oh,
all
okay.
the requirements for both. So that's why I was asking if,
Cool. Cool. That's awesome. That's a good combination.
yeah, I didn't have any schoolmates who were doing both. So I think you're the only other student that I know of who did the same as I did, to do the full requirements for both.
Yeah,
A lot of work.
it was.
It was fun. So very cool. By the way, we haven't mentioned this. One thing Tony and I have in common is that we both did our master in public health at Loma Linda University. In case you hadn't guessed that. But he was there after I graduated, and so we didn't get a chance to meet in the hallway. But here we are. So we've talked about your journey. So okay, that's public health, and then what did you do after that?
So after that, I went to University of Washington and did I did physician assistant studies. So now I'm a PA in pediatric neurosurgery here in Orange County, California.
Very cool. So is that the school they call UW?
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm just, this is really interesting. I just have to say this because you went to UCR for your undergrad and then you
Hmm.
went to UW. And the reason I know they call it that is because my brother got his undergraduate at UCR and went to UW for his graduate work.
Wow.
Weird. So that's just a lot of
Yeah,
interconnections. Anyway, he loved it there. Beautiful
yeah,
campus.
no, very good. It's a really pretty big campus, and I love it a lot.
Yeah, yeah, he loved it there. So you went to UW, did that, and then what are the other letters in your name? The MCHS, is that Health Masters in
Yeah,
Health?
so it's Master's in Clinical Health Sciences, and I got that from UW.
Okay. And
Yeah,
so the PA is more of the licensing.
yeah. PA is more is strictly the licensing, and then the C behind it is certification, so certified.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's interesting. So you got the M, sorry, MCHS,
H. Uh-huh.
the degree for the certification as a PA, as a physician's
Hmm.
assistant. And that you
Yes.
can, you're not an MD, but you can write prescriptions, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. We can write prescriptions in pretty much all of the states, and I think it's probably like one or two you can't write it in. And we can practice in every area of medicine except for podiatry, optometry, and anesthesiology.
Mhm.
But I think some people are in ophthalmology now, but it's pretty much, we can go all over the place. So that's why during the week, I practice in pediatric neurosurgery, and then I moonlight in the emergency department at the adult hospital across the street.
All right. That's really cool. So they call